All right, in this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set for a very intriguing fight June 3rd. It takes place as part of 158. We have Xie Wei and Reece McLaren getting out there into the one circle, testing skills against one another, and happy to be welcoming Reece onto the show. How's the day going so far there, Reece?
Yeah, no, we're blasting through the day. A bit of an early start thanks to my daughter, but smashed out some morning training, and now just chilling like a villain.
I was gonna say, is your daughter kind of at like an age where they realize what dad does for a living, or is it still like kind of like a younger age? They don't fully have the realization as of yet.
She has no idea. She's only 8 months. 8 months old. She's just gone through a bit of a leap, and she decided it was play with dad's face at 3:00 in the morning.
I was gonna say, like, when do you fly out to like Singapore and everything like that? Like, when does all of the travel get going there? Is that kind of like more early next week kind of thing?
Yeah. So they have us flying out nice and early Monday morning, and we should arrive in Singapore in the afternoon. So, we're very much looking forward to getting out there. Can't wait.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, is the travel usually bad for you? Have you figured out kind of a methodology for the flights? Because I know relative to where some people are coming from, it can be like a double-digit hour kind of travel day. Like, is it a rough one for you? Have you kind of figured out certain tricks on the trip, as it were?
No, it's 8.5 hour 8.5 hour trip for us, so it's not too bad. One direct flight as well, which is nice. A few other times we had to go down south and then up, but yeah, no, we're pretty lucky.
I was gonna say, I feel like you're probably used to like the travel in general. You're one of the more like tenured kind of guys on the roster for sure. So probably just like a whatever thing at this point.
Yeah, no, it's tell you what, it's nice knowing that we don't have to quarantine. So
yeah, I imagine. Yeah, I was talking to some fighters and they were saying how that was like a bit of a game changer, just because the last time there was like I almost felt like a smothering kind of sensation. Like, it's like I just want to go out and wander around a little bit. So to have that autonomy, I imagine, would like lead to a less stressful kind of fight week and all.
Oh, it was not very enjoyable at all, especially knowing that you had to come back and do a 2-week quarantine here in Australia. It was it was rough, man. It put a real damper on wanting to travel and fight, to be honest.
No, it's definitely fair for sure, man. But something I was seeing recently that I thought was really cool, just John Wayne Parr being in the coaching role there, Boonchu Gym and stuff like that. That seems like a really cool dynamic. How long has that been kind of going on for?
Yeah, look, I've been at Boonchu now full time since I think October, and it's kind of definitely not like a blessing in it. Like, I was scheduled to fight earlier this year, had a bit of a health scare, so now being 2 fight camps deep at Boonchu, it's I've really been able to submerge myself in their training, their form of training, and I'm really seeing the benefits of it at the moment.
Yeah, well, hopefully things are totally resolved with like the health issues you were kind of mentioning there, man.
Yeah, it was a scare. I believe we did the right thing, and one did the right thing, and just postponed this fight to now. So it's all happy days, man.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear for sure, and I imagine you're quite excited to get out there with it being a bit over a year since that, Wakamatsu fight at 1 on TNT3. I imagine you've been chomping at the bit. Like you said, you had that previous fight kind of scheduled there, so definitely efforts were made to try to compete since there. But yeah, I imagine you'd be like really excited to get back out there in the circle after that hiatus.
Oh, big time. It's there's just so much has happened, and so many lessons have been learned. It's a long time coming. It kind of feels like everything's come full circle, and it's funny. I said it to my wife the other day. I was like, the last ones, I just wanted to get in there, get it done, and get home, and this one, I just can't wait to just get in there. Like, I just can't wait for it.
Yeah, for sure. And fighting someone who's like a well-regarded individual, for sure. He's got like a win streak going on and stuff like that. Like on a skill set level, though, like his stylistic proclivities and stuff like that. Like what tools are you really noticing when you're doing tape study on your upcoming opponent here, Xie Wei?
Yeah, it looks like he's got heavy hands, good boxing, so he matches up really well. And it's for the fight fans, you know, it's an exciting matchup alone. We both push a high pace, and oh man, fans are in for a treat. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like this is very oriented to like garnering a 50K bonus. I think I was seeing an interview you did with Tom Taylor where you were saying something basically to the same effect. Like you're like, one of us is going to get the 50K, and then you kind of pointed at yourself. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think, I honestly think whenever people see my name on a card, they got to think, crap, Reece is on there. Just like, man, I tell you, I'm bringing it. I'm just like, got me boiling up, you know. I feel almost, if there were 50K bonuses, all my fights are 50K bonus performances in the past, and I don't see this one being any different.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like not even a departure from your normal style. I feel like you just go out there and do what you've been doing in the one circle since December 2015 when you debuted, and the bonuses will just kind of roll through.
Yeah, I'd be definitely in a very different boat. I wouldn't be working full-time and training. If there were bonuses that existed back then, I'd be sitting very, very comfortably. But you got to do what you got to do. Someone's got to put rents always due.
I was going to say maybe once you get a few of these 50K bonuses, you'll not be doing the demolition work quite as much.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to get back to full-time training, to be honest. I've been lucky enough to be able to have taken this week off and train full-time. It's I'm already seeing how much I'm benefiting from just training twice a day sort of thing rather than just the once. But it's all spanners in the works. You know, you're not going to get a perfect fight camp. So far, touch wood, it's all been good. So just got to get over there now, and hopefully everyone is healthy and we can compete, we can fight.
I guess I just had one question about the demolition work, though. Is that like a very like satisfying kind of job, like just having certain things get blown up and stuff like that? Does it kind of get old hat after a little while? I feel like it's a very classic, like you're a young boy thinking of like a job. It's like, oh, it'd be cool to do demolition. You just like blow stuff up and stuff like that. Like, is there anything that's been like a satisfying demolition, or does it kind of just become old hat pretty quick?
It's when you see something that's there and then it's not there anymore. So like a house frame was pretty cool. We smashed down pretty much a full house by hand. It's pretty like taxing in its own right, but it's there's not a lot of responsibility with it, and that's what I like about it. I just can get in, get the work done, and then get the training and then get home to my girls. It's training full time beats it, but it's all good, man. It's all gravy.
I just love the family oriented kind of dynamics there too. Like I believe it was even after your last fight there, like a lot of the normative kind of questions were coming, like, oh, what's next? Where do you see your place in the division? And you're like, oh, I'm not really even thinking about that at all. Just thinking of my family and my girl at home. Like as much as you're very excited to get out there and compete, as you were kind of telling me a bit earlier, like I imagine that's a part you're kind of looking forward to as well, just like getting back to the fam and everything like that once the proverbial dust settles and all that.
Yeah, man, it's just something, once you start having kids or you become a parent, it's things that didn't matter so much. It's crazy, and just I get home and I get a big smile and just pure love scream. It's just it's the best. Parenthood suits me. I love it. It's it's been such an experience just alone. It's just so much more flame and fuel for the fire,
Yeah, for sure. I imagine that would be hugely motivating, for sure. I mean, you've already accomplished a tremendous amount, like contending for the bantamweight world championship and stuff like that. But I mean, give a good push for challenging for that flyweight title, get like the multi-division, contendership action going.
Yeah, I was meant to fight for that title in 2018, and eluded me then. It's stayed eluding me up until I honestly feel if I get two good dominant wins, they can't deny me a shot at the flyweight belt.
Yeah, like you said, like they were targeting a fight with you and Adriano a while back, and then I think like maybe Adriano got injured or wasn't able to compete or something to that effect and didn't end up coming to fruition. I mean, that would probably be a frustrating thing, I would imagine, but is it just like a trust the process, kind of, keep going sort of thing? Because like you said, I mean, you're still in very close proximity to a title shot, potentially.
Yeah, the Grand Prix come along and we were put in that, so for us it was like job security. I was like, sweet, I'm going to get 3 fights this year, and things didn't quite go the way we would have liked them in that Grand Prix, but we've come out the other end much better person and fighter, and I'm just excited for this next one. Hey, I'm just put the work in, and I'm ready to perform. Just like I said, man, like the last ones, I just wanted to get them done. This one, I just can't wait to get in there.
Yeah, the excitement definitely coming across for sure, and like you've got a good place in the division. As I was saying, the number 5 ranked flyweight, but also on the card we've got the number 2 ranked flyweight Kairat Akhmatov taking on Tatsumitsu Wada. Like, you're very focused on your upcoming fight for sure, but are you a guy that kind of like studies the division and observes different, localized kind of bouts like that in your same weight category? Like, how do you see that one kind of playing out?
Yo, I really rate Wada. We had a very, very close fight, me and him, and obviously me and Kara had a close one too. For sure, I'm always analysing and watching the division. I think you're a fool if you're not. I'm actually quite excited for that one. I think Wada's going to surprise a lot of people. I think he got very, very, very unlucky in his last one, and I think he's going to come out and surprise a lot of people.
And I kind of touched on the fact that you, at one point, had contended for, Bibiano's bantamweight title, and he just held the championship for so many years. Like, what were your thoughts when, John Lineker ended up unseating Bibiano from the throne and then becoming the bantamweight champion thereafter? Like, what were your thoughts on that fight?
I'm sorry, I lost you then. The internet fell through.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I'd mentioned... Yeah, for sure. I just mentioned the Bibiano bantamweight, contention you had there, and he held the belt for just years and years, and then, unseated by John Lineker. I was kind of wondering what your thoughts were on that particular fight, that changing of the guard there.
Yeah, John Lineker's a dangerous man. He truly does have hands of stone, doesn't he?
Yeah. He definitely...
It's just, got caught. I think he tried to stand too long with me. I don't know. I love Bibbs to bits. For sure, he's one of my guys I've looked up to. I think he's the greatest to ever compete in the Asian circuit. I'd love to see him come back and get another shot, at his crown.
Yeah, no doubt. I still think he has a very significant place in the division for sure in a lot of regards. But, I mean, you've had a very significant place in one for a while, as I was saying, debuting in December 2015 there. It seems that you've got to become a part of a lot of, like, cool, like, evolution-based moments, like that one on TNT series you were part of in the last fight, and just the one on Amazon Prime deal and everything like that. Like, how cool is it to see, like, that marked level of growth and the company as you kind of grow yourself individually?
Yeah, it's amazing, it's, they were really starting to pick up when they signed us, and now look at one. It's, definitely the leaders in martial arts over the whole world, I believe, and I think everyone can agree it truly is leading the way.
Yeah, and so many compelling matchups for sure, and so much roster growth for sure. I mean, I feel like the flyweight division has always had like really great players, and I would say the same for bantamweight as well. But I mean, the fact that you have the potential to test skills with a guy like Demetrius Johnson, who would be like one of the few like higher ranked guys in the weight category, I imagine that would really excite you a great deal.
Oh, absolutely. I've said it for a long time. I believe that the best flyweights are in one, and with DJ there, you can't even argue that there's not. It's as far as like competitive looking at it all, this is where you want to be.
Yeah, and even like guys you've previously fought, there's certain like entertaining dynamics there. Like I saw the one headline saying like, "Oh, I'd play the villain big time if I rematched Danny King in Manila," and that would be a relevant fight between ranked guys. So a lot of fun options, it seems.
Yeah, oh man, Manila. I love the Philippines so much. Just competing in that Manila stadium is amazing, and the whole setup they have in Manila is crazy. Look, man, honestly, I feel I ripped off pretty hard on that one. I'd love to run that one back, but I'd like to run them all back, to be honest.
Yeah, we've got a lot of different options in that regard for sure. And I mean, it'd probably be cool to, I mean, you're probably happy to be going back to Singapore and just competing in general, but like once they start getting back to like being like more of a touring kind of entity and stuff like that, I would be, thinking you would be stoked to get back to doing something like that, like competing on like a Manila card or, something to that effect, like a Jakarta card.
Anywhere, anyone, any place.
Maybe we can get a one card going on Christmas Island at some point, get you in the headliner.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. I just don't see it being very viable. The whole, I don't know, I think it's due. One is due to come to Australia. I just don't. Australia's it's a funny place, man, for backing combative sports. I just don't think we have. I don't know. We're too stuck in football and stuff.
Do you feel like Australia doesn't support the combat sports as much as maybe they should? Because it seems like in boxing, and I mean, I mentioned John Wayne Parr earlier, what you're doing. I mean, there's definitely, players in that scene for sure, but do you feel like there's not that like broader support of combat sports in Australia?
Yeah, look, you go anywhere and it's kind of the only. I just don't understand how people aren't as aware of one as they are other organisations. For sure, it's frustrating and upsetting. But I think it's coming, I think when we get a champ in this era, with having Volkanovski and Izzy putting the Anzacs on the map, and then having another major champion from one, I think will catapult mixed martial arts in Australia even further.
Is that like an expressly mapped out thing that you yourself would like to do, or is that just like a broader kind of statement? Like you just feel like that would be the catalyst for there to be like a greater focus on combat sports there?
Yeah, no, definitely. I just feel, I don't know, it's just like one doesn't get the respect that's due here in Australia, like the UFC do. But it's coming, I really feel that it's coming.
I was going to say, does this Amazon Prime deal also reach Australia? I know domestically for myself in North America, there's that greater reach. Is there like a greater broadcast reach in Australia? Because, I mean, that could also help as well a bit.
Yeah, we have the app. It's pretty much live everywhere, so I can't see how it couldn't,
Yeah, for sure, and hopefully we can see that going on for sure. But this is kind of a random question, but I thought to ask it all the same, just with you being in the one picture for a while. Like some of the taglines for some of the older events, just very extravagant, like the one Reign of Dynasties fight that you had there where you were co-headlining. Now it's more oriented to like the numbered kind of events, like being on 158 here. Do you have like a preference one way or the other? Is it kind of inconsequential? Do you like the more extravagant kind of titles, or does it just not really matter one way or the other?
It's just a fight show and everyone tunes in, But yeah, the more they are adverse and stuff, it's see it everywhere here. All the boys at work, they all get the TikTok, and it's they're like, "Oh, we seen you, Rara." It's awesome, man.
Yeah, great time to be a one championship fighter, and it's cool getting to talk to you a fair bit, Reece. I do want to be mindful of your time and your schedule, though, man. So is there anything you maybe want to add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping up here?
Nah, look, tune in. It's going to be a fight for the fans. That's all I can say. Judges, go home. You're not going to be needed.
It's a great way to end things off, and very much excited to be checking out that fight June 3rd as part of 158 Xie Wei and Reece McLaren getting out there. And to reiterate, thanks for coming on the show and providing some great insights, man.
Thanks for having me.